Hello, my name is Dr. Tan, and thanks for watching. Summoner Duels Survival is coming up tomorrow, and we have a lot to cover. So let's start with the map here. The map is bridges. We'll take a look at the starting positions here, and you'll notice how spread out all the starting positions are. Normally, we see everyone getting kind of balled up in the corner right here, with everyone kind of making like a zigzag position. But you'll see that everyone's kind of lined up in a wall around all of the impassable terrain and at the border of the map. So this does make it difficult for certain openers which rely on people to be close together when you're trying to get bonuses applied to your units. So units that give bonuses out to 3 spaces at the start of turn instead of 2 spaces will have an inherent advantage for making openers on this map. These units right now mostly just include a tuned Tharja and with the newly introduced Bridal Ash. Because of the spread out spacing for the starting titles, you're going to want to rely heavily on action economy and warping, more so than like basic movement or cavalry, and probably not even using the shadow skills like Shadow Shift or Shadow Smite for getting people into position. The one thing we'd also want to point out here is the terrain here. So we have water tiles, we have 4 forest tiles, cavalry trenches, and unbreakable structures. Because of this long line of structures right here, it makes it difficult for cavalry units to get through to the center of the map. They do have to find a way to get either repositioned onto the cavalry trench or like smited or shoved or repositioned to the other side of it so that they're able to actually traverse to the other side of the map or at least cover more range. So because of all the terrain that I mentioned here, cavalry units are going to be seeing a lot less usage, and if you do see them, you're going to be seeing them on teams with like Allfather or with a high amount of warping, such as using a tuned Tharja. So that's it pretty much for the map. We'll go on to the captain skills. So the captain skills are dosage. They are, what's the other one? Dosage, earth rendering, and then I think it's burden or something like that. It's the gravity one where when you reposition a unit with a range of 2, it inflicts gravity on foes within cardinal directions of the ally that got repositioned. That gravity one isn't going to be seeing much usage because everyone's going to be so far apart, and repositioning someone in the cardinal direction over here, it's a bit of a risky decision. But Earth Rendering overall is considered to be one of the best captain skills because it allows you to passively gain zone points and forcing your opponent to move forward in a situation where you might not be able to move forward yourself. So I think that covers it now for the captain skills. For the bonus units, that is Legendary Leon, Mythic Sombron, and then Mythic, is it Haether? It's the pigtailed girl one, the one that originally had the Seer curse, and then that got passed on to Sather, and then she became Golbeg or something like that. Legendary Leon will definitely have more usage. Sombron will also be there, but Sather is really just more like a copium pick. So we'll go ahead and move on to the units that I want to discuss. So I've already laid things out here in this tier list maker. Summoner Duels Survival, given that you bring 4 teams, is going to be featuring more units that you're going to be seeing in your opponent's team selections. So therefore, this tier list will be inherently larger than what you'd see in an SDR tier list. But there are some similarities here. For example, up here at the top of units that you will definitely see, this matches what you would see in an SDR scenario because all the units here are essentially meta staples and they're not going anywhere for a long time. Legendary Sakura and Allfather being the 2 units that will likely see the most usage, then probably followed by Summer Thor or Harmonic Brave Lyn. Right now, all of these units, with the exception of Lyn, are all support units. So right now it's kind of like a support-dominated meta where the support allies enable nukes, omni-tanks, and saviors to do their jobs more effectively. Volley still being one of the better support nukes out there as well. Giving out drive, distant counter, and close counter is always valuable, and the drive like kind of life unending, but instead of full health, it's 40%. It's 40 health points. Harmonic Brave Lyn, like I said earlier, the map does have some terrain on there, which makes it difficult for cavalry units to traverse. But with the usage of warping and effective reposition skills and Foresight Snare, she is going to be able to essentially dominate the map. But so that does have its own weaknesses, but it's still going to be a very strong team comp. And she being probably the strongest nuke in the game right now, people are still going to have to look out for her. Allfather is a staple. Duplicating and copying bonuses is always going to be a coveted bonus until someone comes along to shut that down. Legendary Sakura for the salvage effect, Kanto 2, and warping is also very nice to have on any sort of team comp or most team comps. Summer Thor, I mean, we did have Mythic Adult Tiki come out, which does shut down her button, but Tiki can only be on one team at a time. Not everyone has Tiki, and she's not that. I mean, Far Saviors are in a bit of a bad spot right now, so she is starting to see a little less usage, but you will still see her pop up every now and then to try to counter Summer Thor, but it's kind of like a 1 in 4 chance of her actually being useful against Summer Thor, assuming that you don't ban her, and if you're the Mythic Adult Tiki user. And of course, Time Dollars, you should certainly expect both of these to be showing up, because Foresight Snare is still one of the most annoying bonuses to deal with. People are figuring out counters against the Foresight Snare bonus, and it is getting a little weaker as people are starting to work around that meta. But like I said, if you get caught by Foresight Snare in the wrong turn, such as myself and SDR, then it's just game over, and people are always going to be looking for ways to cheese you. So I'll do it for the definitely tier list, and these are all the heroes that you're definitely going to be seeing. And then we'll move on back down to the very likely tier list. These are going to be units that you will see consistently, but they're not going to be on every team because maybe someone just hasn't pulled for them. Mythic Adult Tiki is here. I just pretty much just talked about her. Teton Veronica is she's turning out to be one of the best support units in the game right now, because being able to apply feud at the start of turn and then mid-turn, while also providing action economy, discord, and exposure from her base kit, is always going to be a coveted support. Her support does swing speed matchups, and in a meta with Fallen Male Byleth, who I'll talk about later, swinging speed matchups is always going to be important. And then we have the Bridal Heir. So in my opinion, Bridal Heir, so first of all, she's a 4-star demote on the Bridal banner. If for some reason you don't have Emblem Micaiah, you should pull Bridal Heir. That's just a fact, because you're gonna need penalty cleansing, and she also offers action economy, and she's a flyer, and with great support. Her support is amazing. So, but if you do have Emblem Micaiah, you can't go wrong with pulling her. Just straight up, if you have Emblem Micaiah, then you can't go wrong with pulling Heir. If you don't have Emblem Micaiah, you should really pull Bridal Heir. That's just my opinion, and we might see that her age kind of, she may age like cheese, she may age like wine, but we'll see what her future holds. Next up is Fallen Male Byleth. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this guy's a monster. Dude, my plan is that I'm just gonna outright ban him if I see him on the team, because the thing about him is that he scales exceptionally well when he's properly supported. If he has a bunch of bonuses, such as attack speed, liberate, and empathy, and he has penalty cleansing, or if he has feud, oh my gosh, this guy does not die. And he will attack you, he will kill you, and then he'll attack again, and then he'll kill you. And then you won't be able to kill him back, because he has 80% unpierceable damage reduction on each phase, player phase and enemy phase. Just once per turn though. He has full no follow-up as well, so you can't do guaranteed follow-up attacks against him. The ways to beat him would be to outspeed him, and that could involve shredding his speed with penalties. That could involve cleansing his bonuses with Summer Thor or even Mythic Loki. and then using Potent as well to guarantee that, or help guarantee that you're making a second attack, because all of that massive damage reduction is only on the first hit per combat. Next up is Legendary Leon. I was a little wrong on my initial impression of him. He's definitely an SDR relevant unit because of his inherent undefended ability. And he hits just as hard as Fallen Male Byleth, or even harder. And he comes with the action ending effect. Not many people are running Firm Canto Curb anymore, because when Day of Devotion Leon fell out of the meta, people stopped running Firm Canto Curb because there just was less of a need to do so. And then after that is Mythic Nerthus. So after her Remix and Refine, she just got like 2 buffs back to back. That involved the attack speed break and the Sturdy Leguse special skill that came out with the 40% unpierceable damage reduction. She is a massive stat stick with full null follow-up, a ton of damage reduction, passive reflexes, some support, and now with a bunch of other bonuses such as Omni Feud, more attack and speed, more damage reduction, and all that sort of thing. So she just became a monster within a couple months. So be on the lookout for her. A properly supported Nerthus is going to be very difficult to kill. Arena Crom, I think he's going to be shooting up a little more in this meta in this season, because of how open and far apart the map is. So he does kind of produce slower openers, but because of the room that's available to you, I think there's a little more room to be able to implement slower openers. His stat bonuses that he gives out with his empathy and his preferred bonus does enable other heroes such as Fallen Male Byleth to kill things more efficiently. And then we have New Year's Balder. She's still good. There's not really much to say about her because she hasn't really changed much in the meta. People are going to use her for her massive warping effect and her natural ability to nuke things, and some ability to tank things. And then Dancer Peony, also a very good support unit. She just came out. People are going to be trying to pull for her. People who are missing a good dancer maybe want to pull for her. And then kind of want to skim over more of the likely and less likely sections at this point. Alien Mia will be showing up here. She still catches people off guard, and reflexes can just explode anybody. Brave Ecthenir, he did get a little bit better with the emblem Lucina and her ring, but he still kind of has issues with surviving if he's not properly supported or if there's penalty cleansing. Emblem Micaiah, she will still be here as well for action economy and cleansing. Niffle will especially be much more problematic to deal with. Being able to set up Ice Train in a map such as this, in a map that's already kind of difficult to traverse, will provide a lot of benefits for her user. Attuned Tharja, she aged like wine, because with 2 volleys being in the meta, her ability to bypass all specials with her own preferred skills is very valuable. She's fast, she hits hard, and she's got a ton of damage reduction. And Forbidden Magic? It's a slot B skill that came with Fallen Male Byleth. If you give that to her, she becomes even harder to kill, and she does even more damage. And she can also be paired up with Brave Ecthenir as a magic savior. I heard there was also a young Tana copy pasta that was going around. I haven't seen it myself, but I do kind of believe that she could be decent on this map, especially with the 3 ranged nukes that are out there. Let's see, who else do I kind of want to talk about here? There's Bridal Ash. The general consensus is that she's okay. She needs a little more support in order to be able to function sufficiently as a magic savior. But on her own, she does kind of struggle. But she could also be a good follow-up sweeper and a good support bot for extra bonuses and the bulwark effect, and for warping as well. Then we'll move on to the Fallen units. I think Fallen Ivy is a good follow-up sweeper nuke with her massive warping effect that she can do. She's very hard to survive against if you don't have Shield Fighter Aegis, or if you don't have a passive miracle effect. Then there's Fallen Tibarn. He's like a flying Brave Felix. but he reapplies Frozen. So he on his own is okay as a follow-up sweeper nuke, like a physical one. But as a primary nuke, he doesn't really fulfill that role very easily. It's also hard to make openers with him, considering that his preferred slot B skill allows him to act, assuming that no one has done an assist skill on him. So using him can be kind of tricky, but reapplying Frozen will always be a valuable effect. And then there's Duo Sigurd. I thought, I was kind of wrong on him. I thought he was going to be an SDR relevant unit, and he wasn't so much. So he still hits very hard. He's definitely one of the harder nukes to survive against. And on this map, with the cavalry not being able to traverse it so easily, we'll definitely be seeing less of him being used in tomorrow's SDS runs. Emblem Messina, great support, great action economy. Harmonic Grave IQ is the free unit, but his his tanking capabilities are starting to, it's starting to show its cracks, and people are just figuring out ways around him. I put Bridal Reagan here. I don't know that much about her, but people are going to be pulling for her because she's a brand new unit, and I haven't really seen her at all in favor duels, and that could just be because cavalry units are just not very, very good on this map. And there's Halloween Freya. She's still a very solid nuke. She's infantry, so she has limited range, but a properly supported Freya could be one of the more dangerous units out there, so be on the lookout for her. And there's a lot more people in the less likely tier list that I could go over. Primarily, I could talk about Mythical Loki. I think she does do a little bit better on this map because at the start of turn, you can just have her go to the tiles that are behind the breakable terrain right here and cover these 3 columns right here of just shutting down bonuses. I mean, if you're able to safely get her over here and start the second turn, then you would give yourself the inherent advantage over your opponent. And then there's, let's see, who else is there? Legendary Hanoka, she has the True Charge effect. I think that's what it's called, but it's charge, but with a pass built into the cardinal directions that you would be traversing with charge. So she does provide that warping utility, and she's also a decent nuke, being able to kill Shield Fighter Aegis Far Saviors. Legendary Black Knight, he's kind of turned into a reflex bot, but he can still function as a Far Savior every now and then. Anniversary Marth, great for warping and providing bonuses, but has really fallen off in combat. There is someone that's running around with a Spring Soth who is just for whatever reason, just doesn't die. You can throw the kitchen sink at him and he just will stay alive, and he'll just kill whoever you attack him with in response. Let's see. Not really much anybody else I want to talk about. Oh well, there is Summer Happy. This map does, with it being so open, does enable warp beacons such as herself and young Tana to function a little bit better. So you might see her pop up a little more often, but I wouldn't anticipate her as being a huge problem. Okay, well, I think that's going to do it for tomorrow's SDS expectations. If you found this video insightful, or if you appreciated what content I provide, or if you're looking for more Summoner Duels related content, then please feel free to like and subscribe and share the video. Thank you very much, and have a great day.